Oppo may be late to the foldable smartphone game. Samsung, Huawei, Xiaomi, Motorola, and even Royole have all released foldable smartphones. However, according to Pete Lau, the company's chief product officer, this lateness was not due to the lack of ability. Oppo had in fact built 6 foldable prototypes over the previous 4 years, and even got a glimpse of them during a media briefing with Lau, which includes clamshells, ini-folds, and outer-folds. However, the company ultimately decided to wait until the technology had matured. Welcome to Rocket Review. Today we will be reviewing the Oppo phone. Oppo could also examine what other companies did well and poorly with the benefit of hindsight. As a result, the Find N, the company's first foldable phone, appears to combine the best features of Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 3 and Huawei Mate X2 into a well-balanced package. This is, in fact, a new favorite piece of foldable hardware. First, let's take a look at the hardware and form. Until now, foldable phones were either extremely small or extremely large. Clamshell foldables such as the Samsung Galaxy Z Flip 3 and Motorola Razr are just regular phones that fold in half to become as small as a drink coaster in height and width. Larger foldables such as the Samsung's Fold series, Huawei Mate X series, and Xiaomi Mix Fold are essentially iPad mini-sized tablets that transform into a modern-era flagship slab, meaning they're still quite large in this form. Although Samsung and Xiaomi have narrowed the width of their foldables, they're still tall phones that tower over a standard iPhone. The Oppo Find N foldable is the first to strike a balance between the two approaches. The outside secondary screen measures just 5.5 inches and has a more traditional 18:9 aspect ratio, making the Find N look and feel ultra-compact when folded thanks to thin bezels and subtle curvature at the edges. In fact, is much smaller than an iPhone 13 Pro, which isn't particularly large by today's slab standard. Because the Find N screen has an 18:9 aspect ratio, rather than a Galaxy Z Fold's 3:24 5:9, it can display smartphone content in a more normal manner as opposed to the Z Fold 3's cramped and elongated feeling. This is especially important when typing, as on-screen keyboards have always felt cramped on Samsung's Fold phones, outer screens, and even worse on the Xiaomi Mix Fold, resulting in more typos. I can peck away at my usual speeds on the Find N. The Galaxy Z Fold 3's hinge corners are still slightly sharp, so the curvature of both front and back glass combined with a more rounded hinge area makes for a more comfortable in-hand feel. This problem was even worse on the Galaxy Z Fold 2 before it. The Find N folds flat as well, whereas the Galaxy Z Fold 3 folds at an angle, leaving a small gap. Because the Find N's hinge has a small cavity into which the screen tucks, the fold is less harsh than the Galaxy Z Fold 3. Because of this design, the inside screen of the Find N doesn't show much of a crease, and it actually has a double crease because of the lenient fold bend. If you look at the screen from extreme angles under certain lighting, you can see the double crease, but it's far less noticeable than the crease on the Galaxy Z Fold 3. The main screen on the Find N is a 7.1-inch 1792 by 1920 120Hz panel that looks and feels fantastic. It's covered in ultra-thin glass, making it feel less plasticky than Xiaomi and Huawei's foldables and more like Samsung's. The screen in fact is Samsung's, and the applications are silky smooth, though the jump back to the 60Hz outside screen is jarring. The Find N's hinge resembles that of the Huawei Mate X2 in terms of appearance and feel. However, Oppo improves on this hinge by including a Samsung-invented feature, the ability for the hinge to stay open in the middle of the fold at any angle. This is known as Flex Mode by Samsung and Flex Form Mode by Oppo, but both work in the same way. Only Samsung and Oppo foldables can do this feature right now. It's very useful as a feature that justifies the existence of foldables. Because the Find N's hinge can stay halfway folded, it can be used as a mini laptop, and the screen aspect ratio is wider than the Galaxy Z Fold 3. The keyboard is also less cramped. In laptop mode, I can type slightly faster with multiple fingers than I can with just 2 thumbs. For battery and memory, despite its small size, the Oppo Find N has a 4500 mAh battery, which is slightly larger than the Galaxy Fold 3's 4400 mAh cell. The Find N's battery life has been excellent thanks to the 60Hz outside screen and Oppo's Chinese ROM software's aggressive battery management. More on this in the software section. You will be left with as much as 40% of the battery after a day of heavy use easily. However, this is due to Oppo's overzealous battery optimization, which has unintended consequences. Again, more on this in the software section. You can still end a 15-hour day use with 25% battery left, even if you disable aggressive battery micromanagement. Anyone should be able to use this phone all the day. The included 30-watt fast charging brick or wireless charging can be used to recharge the device. The Find N is as well equipped as many modern flagships with 12 GB of RAM and at least 256 GB of storage. You definitely won't experience any app launch stutters or crashes in your time of heavy use. There are 5 cameras on the Oppo Find N, 2 32-megapixel selfie cameras, one on each screen, and a triple camera main system with a 50-megapixel f1.8, one 1.58-inch sensor, a 16-megapixel ultra-wide lens, and a 12-megapixel telephoto lens with 2x optimal zoom. While the main camera is the same as the one found in the Find X3, it's quite capable. The secondary and third lenses are inferior to those found in the Find X3, implying that a foldable phone is once again using a compromised camera system that is not the company's best optics. The Find N can still take great photos for the most part, and the camera holds up very well against the Galaxy Z Fold 3's camera. But it can't compete with camera heavyweights like the iPhone 13 and the Google Pixel 6. The Oppo Find X3, for example, had a fantastic ultra-wide camera that produced images that were almost as sharp as the main camera. Since the ultra-wide sensor on the Find N was downgraded, it can't do this. The telephoto zoom lens on the Oppo Find N has a 2x optical zoom and a digital zoom of up to 20x. The shot is clean and sharp if we stick to 2x. However, when comparing the Find N to the Galaxy Z Fold 3, the Oppo Foldable's digital zoom is slightly better because it has less noise than the Galaxy Z Fold 3's 10x zoom. The main camera on the Find N performs admirably at night thanks to a combination of pixel binning and relatively large sensor. For software, the Find N runs Color OS 12 over Android 11. Color OS is very similar to Oxygen OS, which most would agree is a very smooth and useful Android skin. When the phone is folded up, the software behaves like any other recent Oppo phone, which is a great thing because Color OS is a very similar OS to the Oxygen OS, which most would agree is very smooth and useful as an Android skin. Color OS, like Oxygen OS, is highly customizable in terms of both appearance and functionality. Not only can we change the UI color scheme, icon shape and sizes, and animation speeds, but we can also use a variety of shortcut gestures such as quick launch sidebar that can be dragged into the home screen with a swipe, or screen off gestures, which let us trigger actions or launch apps by scribbling the shape onto the sleep screen without needing to wake up the screen. You'll adore the screen off gesture and wish that other phones followed suit. For example, you can turn on the flashlight by scribbling a V, or skip music tracks by scribbling an arrow pointing in the direction, all without having to wake up the screen. Oppo even allows us to customize these gestures, so you can, for example, draw an M to open Google Maps. Because the Find N is only available in China, it does not come preloaded with Google Apps, but these can be downloaded quickly. The Google Play Store is available in Oppo's own App Store, so all you have to do is download and install it. However, the battery optimization is overly aggressive to the point where the phone breaks push notifications, which means you may not be notified when someone sends you a WhatsApp message because the Find N has put WhatsApp to sleep. You can solve this problem by going into the setting and disabling battery optimization for important apps like WhatsApp, Slack, and Gmail, but we find it extremely inconvenient to do so. When the Find N is unfolded in tablet mode, Oppo has made more changes to the UI. The most significant additions are quick gestures that aid multitasking. To activate split screen mode, swipe down the middle of any open app with 2 fingers. The animations add to the whimsical feel of the gesture, which feels like slicing the screen in half. You can also pinch any app with 2 or 3 fingers to shrink it into the floated window that can be resized. When comparing the Oppo Find N to competitors, the Find N comes out on top in most cases. The screens on the Find N are noticeably better than those on the Xiaomi Mix Fold, which have thicker bezels, slower refresh rates, and a visible crease on the inner display. While the Mix Fold has since been discounted, the Find N is around $200 less if we go by the official retail price. We also can't overlook the Z Fold 3's official IP water resistance rating, support for the stylus, and Samsung DeX. The importance of these extra features vary depending on the individual. Please remember to like, subscribe, and share if you like this video, and I'll see you in the next one.